just got back from my 10-day travel to Bali and I'm so excited to get back in the studio. And this first video I'm making for you today is actually a recreation of these roses in hot press paper. So this is what I did in cold press a couple of days ago, and I recreated them in hot press, and this is how it turned out. All right, if you want to see my process and what I think of hot press paper and whether you should use hot press paper too, keep watching the video. All right, let's get started on the painting. Let me show you the paper I will be using today. So we've got Medan watercolor paper, and if you follow me on my channel, I use this quite often. I use the cold press 100% cotton Medan, and if you don't know already, Medan's actually the same company as Bao Hong Academy. This one, Academy watercolor paper pad, which is really popular, and we all know it's very good quality, very consistent, and it's almost like Arches. So Medan is actually just sister company, so it's basically same paper, different wrapping. So I'm also an affiliate of the Medan watercolor brand. So if you want to purchase any Medan items, you can go to the website and use the discount code Crystal10 to get a 10% discount, and the link is in the description below. Anyway, so this is the cold press watercolor paper that I often use and always use. And we will be actually recreating this rose painting with the hot press paper. So this is the hot press, and if you don't know already, the difference between hot press and cold press really is that hot press is smooth, and cold press has a texture, has like a little bumpy texture. And for loose watercolor florists, a lot of us really like cold press because somehow the water doesn't travel as much, and that textured watercolor paper is beautifully shines from within. However, I got into hot press paper lately because of this sketchbook that I bought. So let me show you the sketchbook. It's a Stillman and Byrne Zeta series, and it is actually hot press paper, so it's really smooth. And it was my first time really playing with hot press smooth paper, and I really actually enjoyed how unpredictable and how loose the water and the paint flows on this paper. And I felt more loose, in fact, like less in control. And the great thing about hot press smooth, it is really easy to layer on any kind of crayons, pastels, marker pens over it because of its smooth surface. Whereas for textured paper, sometimes when you put the markers and the, other things on it, it just doesn't go on as smoothly. It's just less smooth basically. So anyway, I've got a whole video on this sketchbook tour that I'll link in this corner here if you're interested to watch it after this. Otherwise, let's get right into the painting. So let me show you my reference photos that I'll be using as well. So for this rose painting, I use this book called The Book of Flowers, and it's a beautiful vintage floral book by Pierre-Joseph Redouat. And oh, just nice. I flipped to the page where it's got his rose collection. So I love vintage florals. I love how, realistic and beautiful the painters of the past paint their roses and flowers. And of course I will not be as realistic as this, but I'll use these as inspiration to create a little rose bouquet like this. So yeah, I might just use this as reference today, but this is the book that I love and I use a lot too. The link is in the description below if you're interested in the Book of Flowers. Lots of gorgeous paintings in there by Pierre-Joseph Redouat. Alright, so let's begin. The paint I'm using is my regular tube paints. All the colors I use and brands are in the description below. I have sprayed them down with water. If you like my palette, also in the description below. It's my Shinhan watercolor palette. And for the brush, I am just going to use a size 12 round by Princeton Heritage. Use any brush you like if you're following along. Basically, this video and this painting will not be a how to paint roses, be more of a, I'm just going to feel the paper, talk about the paper, review the paper, and the difference I'm feeling between painting this and then painting this. And I might layer on with some mixed media as well. So let's get started straight away. I have just returned from a 10-day trip to Bali with my family. So a bit rusty and a bit behind actually in posting a YouTube video. So this will be a video that I'm filming today, editing today, and posting today. Just the way I like doing it. All right, I'm gonna grab my permanent rose. This is a Quinn Rose by M. Graham. Love this brand because it activates really quick. I don't have to scrub so hard, and I'll get so much of it already. Okay, so a really nice big saturated brush load to get the middle of this rose. So just making little C curves. By the way, I have a lot of vintage rose tutorials if you're interested to paint more roses with me. It's all my playlists. So I'm just wriggling my brush around, and I already like how this feels. It is smoother for sure, and my paint just glides on a little bit better. I'm gonna wash off most of the pigment there, and with just a brush load of almost just water, just touching the edges and letting it flow out. Now I'm noticing that it's flowing very differently. Okay, it's flowing more unpredictably. It's pulling slightly on the edges here, and it's not flowing as much actually. It's not flowing as much. See how it's kind of like stuck here? So I went in there with more pigment, and I'm just gonna literally go with the flow. I picked up some gamboge to mix a bit of colors in to see what that looks like. And for those of you who don't know already, I paint quite quickly, so feel free to pause or slow down the speed if you feel I'm going way too fast. But I'm feeling now already in this first rose that with this paper, right, I need to paint slightly differently to how I paint in cold press. I'm feeling like I need to go more fast and loose, and more like just get a bit more sort of like intensity and drama. Okay, I'm gonna go for my second rose here, and I'm just gonna instead do really loose, quick strokes. And I can't talk so much in between because I wanna just keep the flow. I'm trying to create different values. Oh, what's happening? Dipped into the wrong color there. So this dark brown is Dragon's Blood by My Mary May, or it's also called Brown Madder, if I'm not wrong, or Red Madder, one of those. Okay, so yes, kind of like that. Definitely feels different. How it compares to Stillman and Burn, it is actually still more, I don't know how to describe it. It's still a little bit even more textured than my Stillman and Burn. So Stillman and Burn is almost shiny. It's smooth and shiny, so it's got a bit, not shiny, but more glossy. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, another rose here. Bit of lemon yellow this time. I like that. So just fast, painterly strokes seems to be the way this paper is taking to my... So I'm going in now with this rose again to give it a bit more pink and see how that dries later on. Could be interesting. All right. Right now, I'm gonna add some leaves. So my Sap Green, I'm mixing a bit with Prussian Blue. And I just get one stem here. Trick advice with stems, always try to have it kind of like stick out at some angle use different greens as well. So mix up your greens, mix up blue with green, a bit of even pink with the green. Like I said, I do have a rose tutorial on my channel. Don't be afraid if it looks like not so green. All right, just having fun. Just have fun and flow. Let the leaves stick out everywhere. Dipping a bit of green gold as well. Green gold's always nice to add to any painting. Okay, I am actually liking it. It's that unpredictableness that is, you know, making me feel like this is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna create a few buds. So you can see from some buds here, some buds here. So I have some buds coming out this way, just creating the stem of those buds first. And then maybe one up here, up this way. Creating buds are very easy. As you can see, I just made like a little stem, then grab the pink or the reddish or the rose color and just dab. You can make it super loose. You know, that is the beauty of loose watercolor. You don't have to make it exact, perfect in any sense. Okay. Then you want to add a little bit more leaves to those buds. I do like how everything is like a lot shinier and more unpredictable. I think I'm gonna enjoy actually layering with, excuse my doggy, postman's here maybe. All right, so now I'm going to create one or two darker roses, like this one here. I'm gonna use my Dragon's Blood, dioxazine purple, or any other purple you have. If you don't have purple, you can use dark blue. And a bit of burnt umber. Or just burnt umber and purple. Yeah. A bit more purple. All right, so a nice dark one here. So I'm just making all of them pretty much the same size and not too fussed about. They're just really loose and expressive. Don't you love that word? Loose and expressive. As if other kinds of painting is not expressive. I don't get it. Anyway, I have one sticking out here. Just a smallish one, maybe. So we don't overpower the pink. You always want to give your flowers some kind of hierarchy. Okay, and then maybe just some buds there. So this time round, I painted the buds first. Excuse me. This time round, I painted the buds first before the stems, which you can totally do. There's no rules. Connecting. Oh wait, let's connect this to a stem first. Yes. All right, now I'm gonna go in with a few more leaves in the background. And I'm gonna use a lighter wash, so very light, like tea-like consistency, because sometimes it's nice to, oh, I totally touched that one there. Sometimes it's nice to just have lighter leaves come up behind, so that you have a bit of depth. And I'm noticing how there's a lot more pooling going on, okay? It's fun, it's fun. It's fun to try different paper, different supplies. And already it just feels a bit like, I don't know, brighter, or maybe it's just still wet. We'll be able to really see once it all dries, okay? Adding a bit of that gamboge into the leaf color here. Like that. And if you live in Victoria or Melbourne, I'm having actually a vintage floral workshop in person in my studio in March. So by the time you watch this video, March 2024, it might have already been passed, but you know, look out for my in-person workshops that I run in my studio here in Warburton. If you're interested, go check it out. I'll definitely link it in the description below. It's the weekend before Easter, and then I have one on the next day, which I will do poppies. So 2 weekends, and then I'll have another weekend of it in April. So March and April, the dates are in. If you really want to come paint with me live, this is your chance. I don't know if I'll be doing any more this year because we might move. Yes. We might move and I might not have the studio anymore, but that's all still up in the air. You're the first to know actually on YouTube that we might move. Big secret. Anyway, so what we'll do now is I'm gonna leave this to dry and then we'll come back and just play around with some details. But for now, I really, really love how it looks. Okay, so I have actually not waited that long for this to dry because there's actually the fun part about using Neo Color Tools. So these are Neo Color Tools by Caran d'Ache, and they're actually wax pastels that are water soluble. I know, right? Wax pastels that are water soluble. So think about the Crayolas that we have, but instead of it being like resist, where you can't, you know, it's just there, this one actually dissolves when you put water on it. So let's have a bit of fun. So I bought these colors. You can buy a set, but I actually went to just buy individual colors because I didn't want to get the whole set and be very overwhelmed. So hand-picked these colors, and if you notice, they're all a little bit non-primary. They're all quite off, unique colors. I've got this beautiful neon yellow, and some of them is broken into half, and very interesting pinks and blues. So let's have a bit of fun to do this. So I usually do this kind of mixed media stuff on my sketchbook and not really on actual paper. So it'll be fun for me to, you know, get out of my comfort zone and do something different. All right, I'm gonna go by feel, as I always do, just go by a little bit of intuition, and let's see. First thing we could do is maybe outline a couple of petals with this darker red. So just gonna go in there and then some blue would be nice to just go over these blue leaves. And this is so freeing. Like, you know, if you just don't know where to start, there's a couple of really amazing mixed media artists on YouTube. I've got Black Now. And Lauren Horn is one of my favorite. On Marwin, Sandy Hester, gosh. If you watch a couple of their videos, you just want to run out and buy all the supplies in the world. I'm not kidding. Bit of this soft pink, this soft baby pink, which I don't really have in my paint palette, so it's nice to use something that you don't usually use. I love a bit of yellow to just outline a couple of leaves here and there. And for these darker flowers, just going around with this dark burnt umber. So the reason why I didn't want to worry about waiting for it to completely dry is because these are water soluble. So see what I did when I went around this wet bit of flower with this, it kind of like carries away and it makes it a little bit smudgier. I have a feeling I overdid this branch. I'm totally overdoing it, but it's fine, you know. I feel like sometimes we need to not really measure too much, overthink things, and often my best work, or at least, you know, when people comment on my social media and really like certain work, is the ones that I just am least careful about. All right, just an example of what I mean is, look at this first rose that I painted, that center, and that would be like your classic beautiful middle of the rose center thing. And I could have done that for every single one and it would turn out perfect, but you know what, at the end of the day, this is the bit I least like. I actually like the more crazy, not so perfect, mushed up petals. Okay, so mixing it above yellow now into my roses and some of my leaves. This one is a neon. All right, and then I'm gonna just pick up this blue, and I love this blue. It is called lavender. Oh, sorry, sky blue. This is sky blue. And I think blue is, for me as a floral artist, is a way beautiful sort of accent color that you could just hide and drop in to create sort of a surprise and interest. Love that. And the fun thing about neocolor is you have white. So, you know, in watercolor we don't use white very often, so it's actually a nice fun cheat way if you want to add a bit of white back to your painting. And you get to experience what acrylic and oil artists like doing. You know, they put the light over dark. What a luxury to put light over dark. We don't get that. It's always dark after light, hey? Okay, so where are we now? Yes. All right, I am liking this. However, I am always a bit extra, right? I know, I can't help myself. So what I'm gonna do, and in fact, you know what? I might end the video here and just say this is it. Or, no, let's go a bit cray. I am gonna grab my neon palette here, and I'm just going to do some crazy stuff to the background. So I'm gonna add a background. Yep, adding the background. So this neon palette is Lumi Accent. It's a Japanese brand. I use it sometimes. My painting, my channel, and this and that. And you know, I've had an intense 2 months of traveling, and I need to let go. So I'm going to paint the background a neon pink, and I am going to choose this pink because it's actually my favorite pink. It's less magenta-y. That one's very magenta. This one's more, what is it? Barbie? No, more coral. All right. So I'm gonna paint this background in a very messy way, and hopefully it give it a little like border frame thing. Sometimes I like to put in a background, not because I think it'll look nice, but because I just feel like I want to paint some more. You know that feeling? The feeling of, I just want to feel paint glide onto a piece of paper, because it's so meditative and soothing. And what a waste of paper if it doesn't paint, if you leave it. Oh, I accidentally mixed that in, but that's fine. Okay, so when you paint your background, a suggestion that a tip I like to share is just do it in sections. Find sections within your painting so that you can have like a nice flat wash per section. And because I'm not intending for this to look perfect in any way, I leave white spaces around my painting. I am using a big brush with a pointy edge. You can just really use the brush that you feel comfortable with. Okay, but my advice is the more hesitation you have in your strokes, it shines through, okay? It shows in the painting. So basically, the less you care, the more awesome your painting will be. It's just how it is, for me anyway. Okay, so this is not the easiest painting to paint a background in because it just got many little sections. But who cares? I'm having fun. I freaking love this neon pink and how it is just contrasting with my more subdued paint colors. And notice how it's pooling at the bottom here as well, because you know, like smooth paper, hot press, it doesn't spread as evenly. It's more unpredictable, but I actually think that's gonna be cool. It's gonna add to the character and personality of this painting. See how I'm going over a little bit of the neon color, and I'm not being too worried about that, because it's not resist. It will sort of like dissolve a little bit in the water. That's fine. Creating a bit of orange. Pink and yellow equals orange. So I'm deliberately leaving a little bit of a white border around because I think it's cute. It gives it a frame, a natural frame. Okay, now it's a bit trickier to go into the middle now because I need to make sure I don't smear my palm onto the wet bits. But you know, this is also wonderful practice for brush control, water control, paint control. Isn't this the most fun pink? I just love how neon colors come in and out of trends. You know, it was huge in the 90s, huge in the 90s, and in our sort of postmodern, I don't know what world we are in now, I feel it's got its place. It's definitely got its place. It's just such a happy color. And where I'm at in Australia, a lot of Australian artists love this color. They love pink, love neon, because I think it just reflects the light that we have here. It's so happy and crazy and bright. Okay, so that's done. Okay, I don't know how this actually looks to you on the camera, but right now it looks so cool, so fun. I was intending to do a side-by-side comparison between cold press and hot press. And you know what? At the end of the day, I feel like what hot press paper has given me is the freedom to go a bit more nuts. Every time I'm presented with hot press, I feel like I want to do more. I want to do crazier things. I am not afraid of ruining it as much for some reason. And this is what it is. So it's less of a comparison of how does it feel, how does it work, and you know, a side-by-side exact comparison. For me, I love hot press because it makes me more crazy and more experimental and more brave. So these, both hot press and cold press paper, are on my link in the description below. You can get them from Mead and Watercolor at a 10% discount. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I am in love with my painting. Thanks. And there you have it, my rose painting in Medan hot press paper. Remember, if you're in the area and you're just watching this video, I have a workshop, an in-person workshop that's coming up in March and April 2024, the first of which I'll be painting vintage roses. And this is something we'll be doing as well in the workshop. So go and check out the link in the description below. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Sign up for my mailing list so that we can keep in touch. And I hope to see you real soon in the next video.